You see, guys, here is the thing about panic control. You have to understand that in order to panic, it is due to those people who panic, which is really a negative way of saying that they are not prepared to live life. And now, those people who are prepared are the ones who are, let's say, planning every single day, because you need to plan to get ahead. And now, the best way you can plan is through communication skills. And now those people who do have communication skills every single day are the ones who are able to pronounce every single word better than before. You have to understand that each and every single time you eat something or do something in life, you have to understand that you have to plan it first. I mean, stop and look before you decide. I mean, don't just go blindly into anything. You have to understand it's really about, let's make sure that what we're doing today is going to be something profound. And you have to understand that being profound is another word for being something in the moment. You have to understand you have to be in the moment to be profound or excellent, which is another word for profound. You have to understand you have to be that kind of aspect of life. You have to be an aspect of life where you're not going to panic because you've planned it all out already. And now when you're planning it all out, you have to understand you never stop planning and you always continue growing. And now throughout my life, I make sure to plan while I do a video, and I plan through my writing, and I plan through my sleep. So when I go to sleep before bed, and I may just doze off and just close my eyes for 20 minutes before I even fall asleep. And then what I do while I fall asleep is I talk with myself, and I say, you have to do this tomorrow, you have to do this tomorrow, you have to do this tomorrow. You'll do this before that, you'll do this before this. You wake up, you'll give money for accommodation, you go here, you have to go and get yourself food and stuff like that. You'll Netflix at this time, you'll do this, and you'll do that. You'll then say, you're doing excellent today, you recap, and for example, I'll recap for today, and I'll make sure that I'm just planning and planning and planning before I even go to sleep. And I'll just do it all with my words before bed. And then once I wake up, I can remember what I planned 20 minutes before I fell asleep. I promise you it's a helpful tool. Or you can do it on a nice beautiful journal where you have a nice beautiful Samsung phone, which is iSamsung or iPhone, and you understand that you go and use your phone to go and write in your notepad. And you go and plan the day before. Like, for example, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes before bed. You can plan the day I'm not sick, guys. You can plan the day before, 12 hours before you even fall asleep. And you can plan the day before. I mean, you can plan the day after, or the plan is to plan tomorrow, 12 hours before you even fall asleep. And you just do that with the phone, or you do it by word of mouth. And you'll always be planning the next day, or the next week, or the next month like that. And then what you do is, when you wake up, you can already see what you're doing. And you can see how your day is going already. And you don't have to wake up and start running everywhere. So you plan the day before, or you plan 20 minutes before like I do, or you plan 12 hours before like I do. I do both. I sometimes have no time to plan 12 hours before. So because I'm doing a lot of social media work today, and because I've got other aspects of life where I have to improve, so I find myself trading time a lot. You're a trader. So if you find the stock market today, which is a stock market exchange, they call it, and you have to understand it's got to do with the currencies of the cryptocurrencies and the economic world around us. So everything to do with finance is the stock market exchange with their systems. You have to understand, although, that the real finance is Jesus. You have to understand real finance today has everything to do with Jesus Christ and the wisdom of life. So anything that you can gain more skills from is finance. You have to understand that finance is time management, and finance is got to do with all aspects of life. So those people who learn and grow in each and every single step of the way are going to be the ones who are more fluent in their communication, and also in their looks, and also in their finances. Because you have to understand that your looks, you have to understand, you see how my complexion is inside this video? I promise you that's called finance. You understand? Because I take care of myself. And now when I take care of myself and I eat healthier, because I realized because I'm a vegan also, I realized that it's all finance related. I realized I saved so much money because I'm a vegan. I saved so much money because I'm sober. That's got to do a lot with finance. And now, no amount of finance will help you if you're not sober and vegan. I promise you, no amount of finances in the world will help you, because you'll never understand what true energy is when you're on veganism, and you'll never understand what true energy is with sobriety. I promise you now that with sobriety, you will gain energy, and you will gain money, and you will gain health and longevity, which is another word for longer life. You also gain more confidence and more of your eye, which Jesus says, don't cut your eye out. You have to understand, if you have no eye for I love I, you will never ever live life to the fullest. So increase it as much as you can. Increase your eye as much as you can, because that way, the more you talk with your eye in your journal, is how I do it, or on video, or with people in daily life, I communicate with them with my eye and you. And now, I'm always that type of guy that is always growing now. And I'm always looking for help in every single angle. I'm making sure that somebody outside of me can help me in a way that I seek for help to be their student. I have to be their student. I have to learn from them. I have to see what they're on about, and I have to help them along the way. That's called leadership. And now, those people who understand leadership are the ones who are much more profound in what they're doing. So they're more fantastic in what they're doing. I realize they're more awesome in what they're doing. I realize they're more nicer. And you have to understand that Gary Vaynerchuk says, nice is ROI, positive. And now, what does ROI stand for? I mean, ROI is ROI, and it stands for return on investment. Realize that when you have a great return on investment, you'll be nicer in the first place, because those people who are nicer are always kinder and more generous. So you have to be like that, because Jesus is like that. You understand that Jesus grew up as a little boy teaching and learning from people along the way, and also throughout his time was a massive teacher and is one of the biggest teachers in life, and is the biggest teacher in life. So I have to say that Jesus is profound in what he teaches, and it still stands the test of time, because what stands the test of time is wisdom. And now those people who can teach wisdom, such as Jesus can, I promise you, you're already successful. You understand that you just have to keep teaching something that you are passionate about. You have to understand that my communication skills have tremendously evaluated in a better way. You have to understand, I've improved myself so much inside of my communication skills, because communication skills is not just what you say. I promise you, it's what you do also. I promise you now, your communication skills is your habits, and your habits is your destiny, as Lao Tzu says. You have to understand now, those people who have great communication skills are able to lead, are able to look great, are able to have a massive following online, and also are able to lead everything, and are also able to be more like Jesus today. Realize that communication skills is powerful, and those people who can learn the art of communication can be more like Jesus and can be more of a leader. You have to understand that you can talk in any kind of way. You just make sure that you use the IUQ rule that I have. I made a video previously that says my IUQ rule, and it teaches some aspects of communication skills, although we still have to teach more and more about everything. I promise you that nothing's done in my courses. I promise you each and every single course is incomplete, because life is incomplete. I promise you, you're never going to be complete in life. And now, you may be complete to this level. I promise you now, we have to grow now. I need you to be 10x better than this moment, each and every single moment. I mean, each and every single second, I need you to be 10 times better. I promise you now, that's unlimited growth. And now, those people who are unable to grow are the ones who are panicking, and they're the ones who are not planning, and they're the ones who are working 9 to 5, and the world outside of them is bossing them around and telling them what to do, because they're not skilled enough, because they're not learning, and they're not open-minded. You have to understand that you have to be open-minded, and you have to increase your communication skills any way you can. I realized that before this video, I had this motivation to do this video. I, although, was panicking in a way to say, I feel like doing something else. I can be honest with you right now. Although, here I am. And why did I show up to this video? Because I have this drive in me. And it says, I'd rather do my face on video than do Snapchat adding. I mean, it's much more enticing to be on a video camera and speaking with my face on it than it is doing social media and liking other people's profiles. I promise you, it just makes up a nice, beautiful routine to motivate me to get up on a camera. So no matter what, I realize that I'm always prioritizing what I do. I realize that in my schedule today, I picked to do many aspects of life. So for example, one is where I said that with my link posting inside Facebook, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, I just post one link. And it's just my YouTube link. I promise you, that's it. I promise you, just one step. I made the decision to do that today. And now, I also made the decision to just go and post to whichever social media profile out of those three first with the link. I mean, I don't care. I'll just go to Facebook this time first. I'll go to Snapchat first. I'll go to LinkedIn first the next time. I'll go to Twitter the next time round. Because it's Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook profile that I post just my links. And I post one link each. And now I pick different videos for different profiles. And it's just a different method to say it's all different. I promise you, there's nothing enticing about the crowd on Facebook and LinkedIn and all of that. You have to understand that what's enticing is just doing it differently. And that's what I chose. And now my other schedules is I made a nice, beautiful remedy where every single hour I will post, in terms of my links, I'll post 3 links, which is 3 different videos on 3 different social media profiles. So one link for one social media profile to make up 3 links. Every single hour I'll just post it online. And one profile will have one YouTube video, and the other one will have the other one, and the other one will have the other one. And that's what I do every single hour. And that's it. I promise you, that's my only function for those 3 social medias. I promise you, it's really easy to promote my YouTube account. And now when I promote my YouTube account via those beautiful links, I promise you, they go to my YouTube account and they see over 300 hours of videos. And now I thumbnailed my beautiful YouTube videos with all my beautiful plastic surgeon type, much better than that. I'm better than a plastic surgeon. I just said plastic surgeon because my ego and my thinking is getting ahead of me. So what I do is I name what I just said out quickly so that I can become more of that in a better way. So what I mean is, when I have thinking that goes above my talking, I name the words straight away with the I. So I use the I and you and question to say the statement of what just came into my head into a sentence so that it's never in my head anymore. I just clear it like that. And that's why plastic surgeon came out of nowhere. And now I go and I do that. I realized that I just ate before this, and that's why I have this sweat in terms of the saliva inside my throat. I realized that now, since I've been doing that, I've been improving my communication skills along the way, and you cannot be stuck on any words that you say. I also understand that once I post 3 links into social media every single hour, I'll also go on Instagram now to just like 150 profiles every single time. And what I find is I get 5 followers each and every single time. I get 10 followers. I get 40 followers. I get 3 followers. I get 2 followers. I get 1 follower. I get no followers. Although what happens is that each and every single time I give love, I gain it in another way. And now that is how the universe works. It works in a way that when you give money, such as I've been giving money, for example, with Instagram ads, and it's been returning in favor in another direction. So every time I give money or I give something, I never lose it. I can give you $10 million now. I promise you, you may run away with it and you may not ever give it back. I promise you, I'll gain that $10 million in another way. I promise you that you can never lose what you give. You can never lose what you give. You can only lose what you take away. I promise you, there are people who are just going to scam your life. And they're going to take your money and run. I promise you now that those people have lost more than they have taken. Because you, first of all, are a rich person. And now, when you're a rich person in divine nature, you understand that it's not about other people scamming you. And now, if somebody scams you, you let it go, you let it be, you accept it, you move on. That's what we do. That's a leader-like nature. Although, those people who scam you of your money, they're always in secrecy. And because they're in secrecy, they'll never be popular. And that's why they've taken more away from themselves than the money that they took. You understand? Because they'll always be somewhere, they'll always be somewhere below, and something like a nothing, and like a peasant. You understand? Although you never be a peasant, you never be nothing in life, I never need you to be nothing, I need you to be something. I need you to understand that only 1% of the world is really doing something favorable in the world. And you have to understand that everybody is doing something to a certain extent, although most people are majoring in minor aspects of life, as Tony Robbins says. And now, most people believe that cleaning the bedroom is something to be proud of. I mean, why would you do that for your 9-to-5 job? I mean, if you're a cleaner and cleaning toilets, I mean, most people are minoring in terms of they're majoring in minor things like that. I mean, they're majoring in that. And they call themselves a specialist in the lawyer factory. And the lawyer factory is the law, in terms of the police and law and the criminology and all that. And they go to sue other people, and they pride themselves on that. I mean, why do you pride yourself on that? I mean, why do you need to do law? You have to understand the law's not important. And you have to understand that what's important is teaching people how to live a better life and not taking away people's money. I mean, is that why you became a law student? I mean, you have to take away people's money and win cases against other people? Actually, it's not about that either. Actually, what it's about is no competition. And now, I wrote a quote earlier, and it said, you can see non-human animals, actually, they never compete with each other. I promise you that you'll never see non-human animals compete with each other. And now, humans go on the horses, and they race the horses around the race course. And now it seems like the horses are racing against each other. I promise you though that the horses, when they're together, I promise you they're not competing against one another. I promise you that female will go and have sex with everyone. I promise you that's how it is in the non-human animal world. You'll see a wolf pack, or for example 5 wolves and 1 woman in that nice, beautiful, non-human way. You understand the female will be with 5 men inside the wolf pack, and guess what? Or 5 males, and you understand that she will have sex with the whole group. I promise you now that there's no competition there. You understand me? Although with guys and girls today, you understand that they go to a nightclub and they fight over a woman or a man. I mean, they fight over it. I mean, why are you fighting? I mean, first of all, Jesus would never even go to a nightclub, because Jesus understands that there's nothing there to celebrate other than music. And now music is beautiful, and Jesus does appreciate music, although Jesus has much better things to do than a nightclub. Jesus can go there once, and that's it. Jesus may show up once to a nightclub, and that's it. Although you understand that those people who constantly go to a nightclub every single week, and they go to the same spot, and they sit with the same crew, and they're with the same group, and with the same people, and they say hi to the same people all the time, those people are nobodies. They have a spot to work in 9 to 5 and be told what to do. I never need you to be that way. I need you to go do something more profound. I need you to go away from that crowd. I need you to go away totally, and I need you to go travel a bit. I traveled 1 year and 2 months around Australia, and I'm still traveling. I still never went back, and it's approaching 1 year and 3 months. Approaching now, it's already 1 year and 3 months. Although you understand that I'm still much better than yesterday, and it's because of my communication skills. I promise you, each and every single time I communicate, I do something greater. And now, you may judge me for my age, which is 28. You may judge me for how I am right now, although, please don't judge me. I promise you now, if you judge me for the way I am, you're judging yourself. Because if you judge another person, you're judging yourself. And now we're divine beings. You have to understand that when you say, I promise you, when you say person, you just remember to say divine right after. You understand? So realize that in communication skills, it's all about difference. And let's make a difference. I promise you now, I went on Instagram today and I posted 4 new links. Posted my Facebook profile, I posted my WhatsApp profile, I posted my Twitter profile, and I posted another one, which is my free quote book page, and also I posted a free journal page as well. I posted 6 nice, beautiful links that people can find me at, and people can find me on, and my LinkedIn profile. And now, since I have these profiles online, I realize now I also change the customization to make it something totally new, because once people click on my buy link, they see a nice, beautiful yellow page this time, which is fully custom made, and it looks new and it looks professional. And now you have to do that every single day. You have to understand, you have to go and link everything you have into one social media and then let it be. And then what you do is you promote one social media with money, and you give $10 a day. And then you understand, once you have all the social medias, once you get your business card, and you give your business card for the main social media, which is Instagram, for example, in my part. I make Instagram my social media. That's the main one. And it's my website. Of course, it's a social media and it's my website. And it has all my links, and I promote it because there's 1 billion people in it today, and it's plenty to market to. So you have to understand that when I give $10 a day, I never lose the money, although I gain results over time. I just started recently to gain results with my Instagram, because now I like 150 profiles every single 1 hour. And now there's a limit to doing this. So what I do is I set myself to do 150 likes per hour to like anybody's Instagram images or videos online by location. So I may go to Real Madrid in Barcelona and see what they're posting on that day. Or I may go to Serbia, Belgrade, and I may go and see what they've been posting in the most recent list, because I go and like the most recent tabs of Instagram and the most recent posts, because when you do this, I promise you they're much more likely to follow you. And if you're doing the top posts and if you're liking the top posts, I promise you those people will never see you. I promise you they'll never see your like, and they'll never like you back. So when you're going to the most recent one and they post and nobody else has liked their Instagram post and you're the first one, I promise you they're more likely to go and see who liked it first, and then see your name. And if you have a nice, catchy, nice, beautiful display photo, I promise you they'll click on your Instagram. And then if you have a nice, inspiring Instagram, I promise you they'll follow you. I promise you it's that simple. So I may get 2 or 3 or no followers every single hour, or I may get 40, or I may get 20. I promise you the most I got in one day was 40 followers within just liking people. And this is without Instagram ads. So with Instagram ads, and once I give money for Instagram ads, I promise you now it's multiplying. And now what's happening is the advertisement is bringing me in more clicks, and more people are joining my beautiful social media. And now when they join my social media, I mean, all they're really doing is clicking to see my profile. And that's it. I promise you, I give the money to do that. And now today, in terms of the last 4 days, I gave $40, and 2,555 people clicked on my Instagram profile. And now my Instagram profile is so inspiring. And now once they see that the first time, I promise you they're going to see 9,000 photos in 900 posts, and they're going to be like, what? I mean, they have 10 photos in their Instagram. I have 900 posts with 9,000 photos. And now that's the difference. You understand me? And now they're going to be inspired by just that. Although then they'll click inside my bio link and they'll see all these social media profiles. And they'll be like, whoa. I mean, what's this? And then what happens is, I promise you now, half of them will follow you for life. And half of them will never follow you. Although you'll still get that 50%. And now there's another interesting topic that I just spoke about recently. And it's recently that I just found out. I realized that those people who comment on your social media, for sure half of them are showing you hate. promise you half of them are showing you hate and half of them are showing you love. And now, half of the people who are showing you hate are going to grow. And they're going to go downhill, and then I realize, and they're going to stop, and then they're going to start growing and just go up. I promise you, the other half is going to go downhill, and they're going to go, I promise you, they're the new criminals, and they're the new jailbreakers, and they're the people who are, let's say, not jailbreakers, because a jailbreaker is somebody who never ever goes to jail in the first place. Although they're more the people who are criminals and people who are in the mafia, and they're all ready to kill somebody, and they go in jail, and they're just in gangs and all that, and they're just thieves of life, and they're hypocrites and liars. So those are, I promise you now, if you get 1,000 engagements and 1,000 comments in your social media, I promise you half of them will say good about you, and the other half will say negative about you. Although half of the half that is negative about you, I promise you, they're the ones who are going to follow you coming into the future in the moment. You have to understand the future is now and the past is now. So just bring it all into the moment. Although in 10 years' time, I promise you, they're going to find out about you and how inspiring you are. And they're going to follow you because you had an eye-catching Instagram or profile or website. And now, because you now are consistent with your Instagram and all that, you're just continuing your life, although the other half will never follow you. You just remember that 25% of the people who view your Instagram will never follow you, or your social media, or whatever. You just have to, you let it be that way. Promise you, the other half, promise you they'll follow you, and the other 75% will follow you for the rest of your life. Promise you now, you just let it be that way. I promise you, although, that 100% of the people love you. I promise you, 100% of the people love you, because what's important is you understand now that hate doesn't exist. I promise you, there's no such thing as hate. And now, what hate is really ego. And now, those people who hate you apparently, are the ones who are negative. And now, you let them be negative, although it's not them. I promise you, they're not negative. I promise you, their ego is overtaken. I promise you, their ego has overtaken them. And now, they're used by the ego. And they're the products of their environment. And now, when you're the product of your environment, you're conditioned by society to act a certain way, to be a certain way, and to build the crowd. And now, that's the 25% of the people who are criminals are going down. Fortunately, now the rest have an obvious chance at life. And now, they're the people who are going to grow eventually. And the 50% will grow. I promise you, the 25% are going down, although they're going to grow soon. And you understand that when I say that, I mean, they're going to come to a certain point in life. They're going to say, I promise you, they're not going to go downhill from this point. And now I have to watch my communication also, because I have to use my IUQ rule, because it states that I must use the I and you in my sentence with a question. Always. So in this video, I've asked no questions really, although it's just straight out teaching you. And now even questions will teach you something. Although you have to understand that communication is key. And now you communicate in any way that you can, and you give anything you can so that you can succeed. I really do enjoy my life now, because I do have a steady progress now online with social media, and it's easy to build following. I will say, you just be honest with that, and I will say, believe me. You understand that no matter what, that when I now have all this time to like these profiles, because what happened is that before I didn't have a goal. I didn't set goals on how many to like per hour. Actually, now I like 150 per hour. So over my lifetime, I'll like 3.9 million Instagram photos. I already calculated it. I realized that's over 72 years. Although I realize I have over 72 years to live. And that's my goal. You have to understand that I set goals like that. And now, before, I used to like 400 Instagram profiles, and then I get blocked for a day. I get blocked for one day. And now, that was very costly. Because in one day, I can do 150 times 24. I promise you now, when you go 100 times 20, you'll have 2,000 already that you've liked. Although I liked 400 before, because I didn't set goals. You have to understand, I didn't set goals. And now, it's obvious. I mean, why didn't you set goals? I promise you, although, that it never came to my awareness, first of all. And when you go on social media today and you keep liking and keep spamming people with your likes, and you keep commenting on them, and you keep doing them like this, and you're not really focused upon the blocking of the founder when he blocks you or she blocks you because you're spamming people, you understand why. And now in Instagram, you can like up to 300 photos per hour. And now I set the tone to do 150 because half of that is bearable and I can do it. I realize that it's much better to do so because it's much safer to never get blocked. Because I got blocked 7 days before. I got blocked 7 days and my profile was doing nothing. Now, my profile was doing nothing, although I was doing something in other areas. And now I've learned from it. And I've set goals now. And now if Mark Zuckerberg blocks me, again, for 1 day or 7 days, now I'll drop it to 100 likes. And then I'll drop it to 50. Although you understand that I will keep going and liking. And now if he blocks me just by doing 1 like, then I'll just stop it altogether and I'll do something else. You have to understand now it's called trial and error. I promise you now I will not go over the 150. I promise you now what I will do is leave an extra 15 likes. I'll leave an extra 15 likes just in case I may have liked somebody's photo or profile photo in Instagram, because I just go on Instagram to do this. And I only engage people on Instagram with likes, and that's it. Because that's how I roll and that's how my business is. And now when I do that, I just make sure to skip that person or their profile and go and like another profile photo, because I plan to like 1 social media profile is more than enough for everybody. I don't have to like their profile 20 times because that's 20 likes. And when I have 20 likes, I can go and find myself with 20 people in a new variety where 5 of them can come see me. Although when I like just 1 profile 20 times, or shoot, that person may never see me. I mean, there's more variety here where I may get 10 followers from 20 likes rather than 1. So that is why I just do 1 like per Instagram profile. So if the same profile is posting 20 photos in their hashtag or location or whatever of the location that I went in, I realized of the location I went into, I understand that of the lady means location in this case. You understand that I mean something greater. I realized that it's more that I was blurring inside of my communication. That's why I lost track. And now the whole point is that you understand that you just have to be different. If you need to stand out on Instagram or whatever profile or social media it is today, I don't care what it is other than growth. Now, I mean the best. You have to understand you have to stand out in a way that you promote your face. Promise you, it's the number 1 way. And the number 1 way means promote your face in Jesus Christ. Promise you, that's it. Promise you, now, when you promote your face, you're unique. You stand out right away. Now, here are some tips on how to really do that. You can model yourself. You can be a fashion model. And now do it every single day. You can look at my examples. Promise you, my examples will stand the test of time. And now, you do that. You then go and connect all social medias together. I mean, whatever you have in your time, connect them all together into 1. You then make sure you run some Instagram ads or some advertisements with money. And now you'll have some applications out there that can help you to see some statistics about how your ads are running. And now my YouTube is just going up. I mean, ever since I started ads, it's just going up. Impressions means that how many people are watching you and your Instagram or social media and are coming in to see what you got. So if you have 7,000 impressions one day and then you have 8,000 impressions the next day, I promise you, as long as it's going up, I promise you everything else is going up. I promise you, that's the main idea. I promise you now, the more you advertise yourself online for money, and you never do it for money, I promise you, the more you advertise yourself with money online, the better you are. So what you have to do every single day is communicate differently and be obvious in a way that you're growing. And stay consistent, because what happens is that over time, people are going to recognize you as somebody because you're consistent, first of all, because nobody is inspiring who never has a social media today, because social media is the newest aspect of life today, and it's an online age now, and it's not the industrial age, which is no internet age. Now it's an internet age, so it's early right now, and it's 30 years into the internet. And you have to understand that I'm so early. Although I am 28 in one, and I understand that my age is 28. Although I still grow, and I'm feeling like a baby, and I feel amazing. So to be early into this, you have to understand that many people, such as my peers from the past, who are just really fake friends, you understand that they are just dying, and they're not real friends, because real friends grow. I mean, they'll never have your back. I mean, they'll never grow you. I mean, they'll never help you. I mean, they always backstab you and talk about you negatively, and I promise you that's not the way to go. So never be that kind of person in divine nature. So realize to go learn from Jesus, and learn from me too, because I'll teach you so much skills based on Jesus Christ and what I can do to help you with Jesus Christ. So everything I teach you right now is based on Jesus Christ lessons, because guess what? I realize marketing today has got everything to do with Jesus Christ. And those people who are marketing themselves online can promote Jesus Christ even more. You have to understand now, the more you help others get what they want, the more you will get what you want, as Zig Ziglar says. So Zig Ziglar is one of my mentors, and I still listen to him, and I still go by what he said. And now he's one of the main ideas that has helped me with ideas, specifically. And now the guy is filled with them. And now he's helped me with one idea the most. And it's really to stay away from food. I used to be a fat person, and now I stay away from food. And because I stay away from food, I lost 47 kilos. And now I listen to him. And that's why he's helped me so much. And now, because of that, I'm just growing. And I feel shivers, but I feel Zig Ziglar's here. You have to understand, I just feel amazing. I feel amazing. So the whole point of controversy in life and communication and talking is to make sure that you go online and inspire people online right now. So what you do is every single day, you are making sure that you're in the moment and you're planning every single step of the way. And you have to make sure that you do it one step at a time. I have a nice, beautiful one program step that I do. And it's when you see somebody, you ask them for business only. Now, there's no sex involved, and there's nothing to take away from them, and there's only something to give. So you're going up to them and you're asking them to help them. And that's it. That's my one-step program. And anybody who approaches me on the street, I help them in some kind of way. So a homeless person just recently came up to me recently, and he asked me for $1. I mean, I can afford $1. I can afford any money in the world. I've got Jesus. So you have to understand that I gave him something different. I gave him a business card. And that business card has over 400 hours of video content. You understand that I gave him more than $1, because that 400 hours of video content that's for free is going to teach him skills and lessons to make that $1 into billions of dollars. Promise you now, he was very happy with that. And that is another way to understand that you can get people off your back about giving them money and all that. So you just give them a business card and you don't have to give them money. So I never give anybody else money in my life. I never give them money. I never give my biological dad money. You have to understand, I never give them money, because what I give them is wisdom. I change from giving money to them to giving wisdom to them, because that is the only way of life. I don't have to feed people. I don't have to do anything for people. I just do it for Jesus Christ. Although you understand that I don't have to feed people literally food and drink. I don't have to literally give people money and donations so that they live a happier life. Now, food and drink and money, in terms of plastic money and cryptocurrency, is not going to make you happier. Now, if you give $10 billion to a poor family, they're not going to be happier. Now, they're not going to be happier because that money that is cryptocurrency and plastic money today is not going to teach them anything. Now, Jesus Christ, on the other hand, you see the Bible? That is a book. Now, that book will teach you everything. It will teach you miracles. I promise you, it will teach you the Course in Miracles, which is another nice, beautiful course about the Bible. And it will teach you all the wisdom of life. And it will teach you stories. And it will teach you imagination. And it will teach you Jesus and God. And it will teach you about what happened and how to get over it and how to overcome challenges. I mean, it's a book of life. And you understand, that is much more than giving people plastic money and cryptocurrencies and money and food and drinks. You understand? That you just give them the Bible. I mean, you just need the Bible, mate. You need Jesus. I mean, most people get offended when you say that, although it's because you need to elaborate more about it. And now, when you say that, you just say, you need Jesus because of this, because I see you doing this and I see you doing this. And now, when you see that you're stating everything, I promise you that's excellent. You have to state what you hear from the person and how they are, and you have to state and be direct with them about everything they've done. Because you just say, I seen you step this one, I seen you step this way, in this way for this one, so I need you to see that I see that you said this. I see that you dress this way. I understand what you're saying. Is this what you're saying? You're really being direct with that person to understand them completely. And if you're not asking those direct questions, you understand the person already. You have to understand that it's really communication. So in this video, I would say, I see that you're watching me. I see that is a direct statement. I see that you're watching me. I see that you understand how I look. I mean, it's direct. I mean, it's in your face and it's aware. I mean, you understand? I mean, you have to be direct like that. I see that you can see how my hair looks. I see that you understand that how you're feeling today is amazing because I'm giving you skills. I see that you understand that what I do today is going to help you. I promise you, you'll say yes. I promise you now, if you're saying no, you're just a critic of mine and you're just my enemy. And now I beg you to please stay in this video. Otherwise, you can just leave, please. And now, when you're begging people, you understand that you never beg people. You never have to beg people. Although if you beg them to grow, Roshi, that's different. Roshi, now, you're always looking for a different way. And now, a different way means go the better way. And the better way means online marketing today. And it also means life coaching. And it also means Jesus. And it also means making sure that what you're doing today is going to help you in every single area of life. I promise you now, each and every single time I do a 1 hour video, I clock it. You understand? Because I clock it. I mean, I complete it. I mean, I am not finished. I'm just doing much better. I'm just making sure that I'm just communicating in a different way so that I can communicate much better. Promise you, that's the whole point. Promise you, the whole point is have a better mindset than yesterday and talk and talk and talk. And talk your heart out. I promise you now, the best way is on camera and go and plan everything out. I had a nice, beautiful, major break with life coaching, and for about 1 month, I didn't do much life coaching. Unfortunately, now what I was doing is life coaching myself only, and I wasn't life coaching other people. Unfortunately, that's what I mean. And now I'm always life coaching myself. And now, when worst comes to worst, I'll just life coach myself then. I mean, I'll just fend for myself then. And now, when I fend for others, I now am multiplying my fending for myself. So I'm even grasping even more. So when I do this content, I'm doing it for you, for Jesus Christ. And now you have to understand that I don't care about anybody else other than Jesus and I. Although, will give you everything I can to give you free content to help you. I promise you, it's just my rule. I just have this rule that if I get close, I realize that if I get close to people in terms of other people, I realize that it's more that I may die. I realize what I do is I care for myself more than them. And that's how it is. I never need you to be offended because I care about myself more than you. I need you to understand that it's more you care about yourself and be your best version, and I'll be my best version. I'll care about myself. And that's how it's going to be. I promise you that before, and most of the people today are doing it like this. You care for me, and I'll care for you. You give me my needs, I'll give you my needs. That's like a... Now, you have to be a baby, although that's just a stupid idiot. Now, this is the other way of saying it, which is much better. You make sure that you're responsible and do your best. I'll make sure that I'm responsible and I'll do my best. You cater to your needs and you fulfill you. I'll cater to my needs and I'll fulfill I. The other way, in terms of the poor people who are unaware and they are stupid, they'll say this: you need to fulfill me and I'll fulfill you. You need to give me presents and I'll get you presents. Now, the smart person will say, you get yourself presents and you fulfill yourself, I'll get myself presents and I'll fulfill myself. I mean, do you understand? I mean, you're not responsible for the other person. And now, those people who are poor and skill-wise are poor in terms of skill-wise, you have to understand that they are pushing blame and sympathy on the other person, or they're really trying to make you their life while neglecting themselves. You have to understand that you never neglect yourself in the first place. And now you never make other people your life. You have your own life. You make yourself your life. You be the center of your attention. You be the first in your life. And now other people are putting other people first. You never do that. You put yourself first, as Jesus said. I promise you, Jesus said, do not cut your eye out. I love I. I love you. I promise you, that kind of eye. You never cut that eye. You never cut it out. Because that is something that says I am first in life with Jesus. And now, you can never be first with Jesus unless you have your eye. I promise you now, those people who are putting other people first are ones who are missing Jesus Christ. I promise you they're lost. I promise you they don't have what Jesus has. I promise you they don't have God. I promise you they don't have any wisdom to live life. And now they're lost people. And now I find them in churches, for example. I see many people walking around and they look like schizophrenics and they look mentally ill. And it's because they're lacking core fundamental skills to coach themselves to live life much greater. And it's because they're not studying and not learning. And it's because they're having a panic attack. I realize they're having a panic attack because they have not acquired the skills. Approaching now, what kind of skills can we build today? Approaching that we can build learning skills in terms of how to learn faster. So, I mean, does it intrigue you to learn faster than you do? I mean, if it's no, I mean, you have to improve yourself. I mean, whatever your questions is in terms of your answers must be, I must improve myself either way. Approaching, that's one way. Although you understand that you need to understand that's just one skill. Approaching, another skill is making sure you look better. I mean, go dress better. I mean, go and fend for yourself in a way that you're going to have more finances, you're going to have better clothing, you're going to have affordable clothing. I mean, I never need you to go and grab expensive clothes. I never need you to be with cheap clothes either. I need you to go get something that's affordable. I mean, $2 can look cheap, although it's affordable too. I went to a Target, which is a supermarket here, which is a clothing supermarket, and I went there and I got myself ladies' socks, and they're $1. And now the woman goes, "You get $1 socks?" I say, "Yeah," and she goes, "That's cheap." I'll say, "It's affordable." Otherwise, it's affordable for me to get this. Unfortunately, now that's two different mindsets. I mean, she's looking at the cheap side of life. I'm looking at the affordable side. Unfortunately, now you look at the affordable side. Unfortunately, that's all it is. I mean, don't get confused about that. I mean, a Ferrari can be affordable. Understand? I mean, now those people who look at Ferrari as expensive, I mean, they're broke-minded already. I mean, nothing is expensive in life because everything is affordable. I mean, those people who look at Ferrari as cheap, I mean, they're cheap people. I mean, when you look at cheap stuff, I mean, you're a cheap person in divine nature. I mean, you have to understand that you never look at life as cheap either. I mean, if you look at cheap and you say, that's cheap, I mean, you're just a cheap person. I mean, CHEAP. You're cheap then. I'm not cheap. You have to understand that we need to be much better with our words and finances. So the best way is never go expensive and never go affordable. I mean, just never go cheap nor expensive. I mean, never go expensive and never go cheap. I mean, have that middle barrier. And $1 can be affordable. I mean, just never work for money. You never work for money because money is made easily, as Tony Robbins says. And now money is something that you don't see. And money is really something you see inside. And it's really, money is not plastic money. And money is not cryptocurrencies. You have to understand that money is not anything other than wisdom. And now forget the outside world when you see money. You have to understand that money is everywhere inside. And now, inside is what's happening outside. And now, you have to understand that what's important here is you become spiritual. And now, spiritual beings go inside. And now, the more spiritual you are, is the more you're looking inside. And the more you're looking inside, the wealthier and healthier you are. And now, please, 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 put health first over wealth. Because what's important is you understand that wealth is health and health is wealth. Although you understand that health is much more. And now, what is the differences between the two? I would understand that I never would understand. I just understand that health is vibrancy and confidence. And wealth is also the same thing, although it's just two different words. You understand now that you just put your health first in life. And when you're doing this, you're not searching for outside pleasures, such as cigarettes and drugs and other people to fulfill you. Because you remember how we talked just earlier in this video about how other people are looking for other people to fulfill them. And you never do that. And now, in terms of the drugs and cigarettes and caffeine and cocoa powder and meat, and now people are putting other people first because of that. You have to understand that if you're a meat eater today, realize that you're missing out on energy. And you're missing out on a spiritual life. I mean, you're missing out really. And the whole point of drugs and cigarettes is to destroy you. I've been there. I smoked cigarettes for 8 years. I smoked cigarettes. I had one nose in terms of one nostril for 19 years. I had asthma. You have to understand, I had asthma for 19 years. And now I fixed my nose. I fixed my nose totally. And now I waited 1 year inside a hospital to do that. Although not in a hospital, although I waited on a list to be able to get my nose fixed because I could not afford $5,000 to do it. And now I waited for 1 year on a list. And now I got my nose fixed. So thankfully, I can breathe now totally. And my asthma's gone. My asthma's gone totally. And now I understand what emphysema is. Roger, I've been living with emphysema for 19 years. You understand? So now since that's happened, you have to understand my background with my nose is I fell out of a car. I jumped out of a car when I was younger and I broke my nose. And that's it. Roger, that's how it is. And I didn't fix my nose for 19 years because I jumped out of the car. So it's my problem. So I have no problems now, although I had to go and fix it. I just was never taught by other people to go and fix it. So I had to go and dig deep. I had to go dig deep and find my wisdom about my nose. And I had to go fix it. I fixed it on my own. And my biological dad didn't say, you must go fix your nose, son. No. Jesus would say, you must fix your nose because it's not going to work for you like that. You have to understand that Jesus would say that because that's a true father. A true father will look out for you like that. Understand? Now, when people are not looking out for you, they'll not care about you like that. They'll not say about your nose and how broken it is because they don't care about you. It's just a thought. It's just a sentence. You just give a sentence to help the person. And you have to understand that we're just divine beings. Although you understand that just divine beings, I promise you we're unbreakable. I promise you we're something amazing. And now, my communication skills, to recap this video, is amazing. And I'm really at the brick of dawn in a better way. You have to understand, I'm really, really tremendously happier than yesterday because I understand what I can do. I can really help people. I can get in front of a crowd. And now, the due reason to be able to get in front of a crowd is go do some street performance. Go on the crowd in terms of the street and get yourself a public speaking microphone, and it can be a cabled one, and then just get yourself a nice, beautiful portable speaker and pump it. Just go talk something. Talk something. Talk and talk and talk on the microphone for hours and hours. And now you understand that I do that for 3 hours a day on the street. I can do it on the street for 3 hours a day. And now I realize that I've been doing it for 17 days in a row. And you guys can see my busking videos also in my YouTube account, although you can see it inside my Mega Drive account, which is my first account anyway. You have to understand that everything you can find in my Mega Drive, and it's more than YouTube. You have to understand now that with that, you can see how I done it. And now just go and emulate that. And just go do you. You'll find how I done it, and you just go do you. When you do you, you go and do what I did in a different way. And now, that's what I mean by go and do you. When you see me, you go do you. I mean, does that make sense? I mean, you go do you now. Because what's important is what works for you. So if I do something that doesn't work for you, I realize it's because you're not making common sense. Because I'm making common sense, so why doesn't it work for you when it works for me? You have to understand that what works for me is everything better. And now, when you're communicating for the better. You're doing something for the better. You're making sure that what you're doing today, you're going to give the best life speech ever. You're going to give the best speech, you're going to give the best performance, you're going to give whatever you can to have the best quality video. I realize that is in your heart. You have to understand. You have to use your I intent. You have to use your I factor, which is the same thing. You have to understand you go and use your you in action. You go put yourself in action, which is the same thing. You understand? You put your you in your heart with your I. And guess what? That way you understand I never dies. Your I is the most important factor in your life. And I is the word of God. I. You never cut it out, as Jesus said. I. I mean, I just sang the Twinkle Twinkle with I, and you never cut that I out. You increase it as much as you can. I promise you, the more you speak that I promise you, the more you speak it, the more you live. Realize the more you live. You have to understand now, I can also sing the Australian anthem. I, You have to understand that is the nice, beautiful tonality and also the nice, beautiful rhythm that I grew up watching and listening to. You have to understand, I sang it so many times and I grew up with my Australian anthem because I'm an Australian and my background is Serbian Croatian. You have to understand, I have a background Serbian and Croatian, and now I can still speak that language. I can speak it, and I use Google Translator to be able to muster up the courage to learn the words. So I realized that my biological dad doesn't teach me anything about Serbian unless I ask him. So I'll really appreciate that you guys understand that. I'll really appreciate my biological dad to just come and teach me words. I mean, without me having to ask. I mean, go and be a father or a mother and just go up to your kids and teach them something. And teach them something without them having to ask, because that's you being on the offense about growth. Personally, now that my biological dad and biological family, in terms of my other ones, you understand that they never teach me anything. I promise you, unless I ask, they may say, I don't know. They're like that. Although they're very open-minded. And now I stay away from them as much as I can, because I understand they waste my time. I understand that most people waste my time. And now the ones that don't waste my time, I give them time. I give Grant Cardone time. I give Jesus time the most. I realize that also I give Tony Robbins time. I give Dean Graziosi time. I give Tim Ferriss and Lewis Howes time. I give Brian Rose time. I give all these mentors that I have. I give Osho time. I give Dr. Wayne Dyer and Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar time, because they've got some ideas to give me. And that's what I need. I mean, they came to give me ideas without me having to ask. And now, you have to understand that once I sort them out, in terms of I seek them out, I ask for it. Although, you have to understand that it's much better and blessed to just go give without them having to ask. I mean, just go give them. I mean, when you see them, you just go give them. And you don't expect anything in return from them. You just give them everything you have, and you just go. That's the best way, and that's the modern way of life. It's the modern way of life. It's the high moral way of life. It's the noble human being's life. Now that it's a noble woman and man's life. I'm not naming men or women first. You have to understand that it's really, you understand that I'm straight, and you have to understand that it's really, we're divine beings. So make sure that we're noble in a way that we're modern and humble. So to be humble is to go and see that poor family there and go give them everything. And now the best you can do is make a business that has a wisdom business in it, and forget the money in terms of plastic money, and forget giving them money, and forget giving them food and drinks. I mean, go give them some wisdom. And now, if they're deserving, I promise you they'll learn. I promise you, if they're looking just for money and food and drinks from you, you have to understand that they're lost. And because they're lost, you give them a business card, and if they throw it on the ground, which is treasure. I mean, you gave them treasure. I mean, you gave them 500 hours of video content or 10,000 hours of video content so that they can improve, and they chuck it on the floor because they need some money and food and drink. You forget about it. You just walk away. You walk away because one woman here in Alice Springs, I was in Alice Springs, and she asked me for food, and she's saying she needs to eat food. And she just came up to me and she said, she's saying that she needs to eat food. I'm not making fun of her. I understand that she's very, very, let's say, sick. I understand that she just chucked my business card on the floor. I mean, she asked me for food. I gave her my business card. And now she's an old lady. Now, some people are old and some people are young. Although you have to understand that a 80 years of age person can be 80 years of young age. Although other people who are worse than yesterday will be older. And they'll be old. Now, I will reach 100 years young. That's the difference. Other people may reach 100 years old because they're old. I'm always young throughout time because I'm aging young. And now this woman threw out my business card on the floor. I just turned around and I walked away. I never gave her money. I never gave her food and drink. Although I gave her food and drink and money in that business card. You understand? Because wisdom is food and drink. Wisdom is food and drink. And it's money. It's everything. Now, if you turn away from information today, it's because you are lacking in your confidence and you're lacking in your eyes. So if you're turning away from stuff, I'm Richard Better. I realize if you're turning away from anything in life, I realize it's because you're either lacking or you're growing. So you have to understand that there are two ways to understand how to really get up ahead in one. So the one way you can get up in life is make sure you never turn away from information. Now, never turn your back on it. I never care what it is. I care about life. I care about growth. I just never need you to turn away from any type of information that the news headlines have given you, or that anybody who's ever said anything or wrote anything online or whatever. I need you to read it fully. I need you to read it. I need you to dive into it because information will get you there. I'll see you guys in the next video.